In the last installment of this series, I left you all a bit empty-handed because I simply could not find any vintage Star Wars toys for sale at the Mega Plaza. However, fear not, I have now found a source with some truly amazing vintage Star Wars toys. So stay tuned and I will show you what I am talking about. Welcome back. Now, as I said in the beginning there, the last episode was a bit of a bust because there were simply no vintage Star Wars toys for sale at the Mega Plaza. However, I have now found a new source, and whilst it's not an in-person shop, it's an online shop. So let me explain. In Thailand, shopee.co.th is a massive online marketplace. So after a bit of digging, I have found one seller who has a pretty decent selection of vintage Star Wars toys for sale. So without wasting any more of your time, let's go in and see what this guy has for sale. So now we're into the Shopee page of this seller, and I should point out as well, it does look as if he has a brick and mortar store, but I've had Mrs. 88 do a bit of translation for me, and she cannot see any indication of where this store might be. So we may have to contact the guy should we want to visit. But first up, we have a bunch of graded figures for sale. Now, throughout this video, I'm not going to do the conversions into dollars verbally. I'm going to put them up on screen, but the price range goes from 5,000 baht to 10,000 baht. And he has already sold a few, but one that he has available is an R2-D2, and it looks to be a grade 75, very white looking, and 7,000 baht. Again, I'm going to put it up on screen, but I think that might be a reasonable price. Next up is a Stormtrooper for 6,000 baht. Again, a 75 grade. It looks to be pretty white. I guess the limbs have slightly yellowed, but not at all bad. And of course, everyone's favourite Boba Fett coming in at 10,000. It looks to be an 80 grade. It doesn't look at all bad. It actually looks very shiny and new looking. We have Luke X-Wing. Funnily enough, this is a figure I'm looking for again. When putting my display together, I think I do need to get another one of these, but I'm not paying 5,000 baht for a sealed in plastic one. But regardless, that is a very nice looking example. He has already sold a Luke Jedi with green saber, but I'm not happy with the way that cloak has been put on. Also, he had a blue lightsaber Luke Jedi, and also another Boba Fett that went for 5,000 baht. That was a 75 grade, and the Luke Stormtrooper, that seems to have been 5,000, which I think is a rather good deal, albeit the limbs are slightly yellow. But the last one he has for sale is Obi-Wan Kenobi for 10,000 baht. That looks almost packet fresh. So far so good. Now, I should point out, when you use the term vintage Star Wars, it of course throws up vintage collection. I will not be looking at these. Likewise, retro collection. But going back to vintage, we have a tri-logo Anakin Skywalker for 7,500 baht. Now, at first glance, that looks like a really good deal, but closer inspection here seems to indicate that the bubble has cracked, which I believe is a common problem with these tri-logo figures. But regardless, it is nice to see carded figures for sale here in Thailand. Next up, we have what appears to be a graded Luke Skywalker from The Empire Strikes Back card back. Really nice looking. It seems to be a 70 grade, 100,000 baht. So off the top of my head, we're into sort of $3,000 territory here, but a really nice white example. Rather nice indeed. Next up, something that is of great interest to me. This is an AT-AT with box, and if I open up this picture, also has the cardboard inserts. instructions, and looks to be the poster, which I did remember having as a kid. This is a really, really nice example and is definitely of some interest to me. However, 40,000 baht, that's definitely in excess of $1,000 though, so that's rather expensive. We have another graded carded figure. This time it's Darth Vader on a Jedi card back for 23,000 baht. Again, looks to be in good condition, but it has suffered from the common yellow bubble that plagued this line of figures. But regardless, it's still nice to see. Next up, this is a crazy toy. So that's like, I guess it's a fake Stormtrooper, but can ignore that. We have a graded loose Boba Fett, 75 grade, and I think these are all from the UK grade company, which I have no real experience with, but 17 and a half, I'm going to say approximately 500. It will of course be put up on the screen. I don't know if that's a good price or not. Next up, a Darth Vader. It looks to be just loose carded, coming in at 18,000 baht. Not at all bad, and if I'm not mistaken, it has been signed by David Prowse. So there's an added bonus for you. So 18,000 again, we're looking, I'm guessing here, just over 500. I will confirm it on the screen. I don't know if that's a good price. I mean, given that he's no longer with us, this could be a good bargain, possibly. Next up, I'm going to bypass this Coca-Cola R2-D2 and go straight to the graded loose Luke Skywalker. That looks to be in fantastic condition, and again another 75 grade for 9,000. That, I believe, off the top of my head, is a fantastic deal. We got comics. We've got another loose Luke who has a rather yellowed body and the tip of his lightsaber is missing, but the price reflects that. Now, as you can see here, we have a lot of vintage in the background, so I don't know if he's a private seller and that's his collection, or if this is part of a store. I will find out and report back on that though. It's a model kit, vintage collection. Now look here, we have Slave 1 with the Empire Strikes Back box. Now I've taken a quick peek at this. I do not believe it is complete. I think we are missing the carbonite block, but regardless, it is nice to see, and this is not quite as interesting as the AT-AT to me, but it is something I will maybe investigate further. So 7,000, I don't know, 220, 230, again it will be showing up on screen. You know, with a box, maybe that's a good deal, who knows. A loose Anakin for 2,000 baht. Why has it got, are there two options here? Oh, okay, there's one sealed in bag and one that is not sealed in a bag. From a rough estimate, that seems to be about the going rate in America, so that's not at all bad. Next up, a lovely example of the die-cast TIE Fighter sealed on card, and the price of course reflects that. I should point out as well, if you look at the shipping fees here, it says 27 to 39 baht. That is basically just under $1 to just over $1. The shipping here is incredibly cheap. But yeah, this is a really nice white example of this. Slightly, it's far too expensive for me, but it would be nice to have. Next up, Power of the Force, Luke Skywalker with his battle poncho. The price, again, estimate under $1,000 US. The bubble isn't too bad, but I can tell from the coin that it is definitely yellowed. I had the same thing happen, whereby I got myself a sealed Imperial Dignitary to open for my loose collection, and it was my first time ever having a Power of the Force card, and I thought it was actually a gold coin that was enclosed because the bubble had yellowed so much, which seems to be the case quite commonly. But 30,000 for Luke, and we got one more vintage figure. which is a loose Boba Fett at 1,500, so it's under $50, but there's no blaster. So all in all, I wouldn't be paying that much for a incomplete Boba Fett. But there you go. Those are some of the figures I have seen so far in Thailand. So there you go. Finally, some vintage Star Wars for sale in Thailand. Now, I won't be able to comment on whether or not these are really good prices until such times as I do the conversions, which you would have seen already on screen. As it is, I'm doing this off the cuff. I don't know if these prices equate to a decent US dollar price or not, but regardless, I am so happy to have finally found some vintage Star Wars for sale in Thailand. I thought it was never going to happen, but the search is not over. This is just part 2. This will be an ongoing series, and I will definitely be hitting some of the night markets and some of the other toy stores here, and hopefully I can bring you some in-person footage of vintage Star Wars for sale in Thailand. But there you go. Let me know what you thought of these figures and indeed the prices in the comments. As always, thank you for watching. Please leave a like, please share the video. Do make sure you are subscribed, and stay tuned for more videos from All Things 80s.